Section 9 of Bohemian, San Francisco. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, visit LibriVox.org. Bohemian, San Francisco, The Art of Elegant Dining by Clarence Edwards. Section 9. At the Hotel St. Francis. On the morning of April 18th, 1906, one of us stood in the doorway of the Hotel St. Francis and watched approaching fires that came from 3 directions. It was but a few hours later when all that part of the city was a mass of seething flames, and in the ruins that lay in the wake of devastation was this magnificent hostelry. Before business in the downtown district was reorganized, and while the work of removing the tangled masses of debris was still in progress, the Merchants Association of San Francisco called its members together in its annual banquet, and this banquet was held in the basement of the Hotel St. Francis, the crumbling walls and charred and blackened timbers hidden under a mass of bunting and foliage and flowers. Here was emphasized the spirit of Bohemian San Francisco, and it was one of the most merry and enjoyable of feasts ever held in the city. It was made possible by the fact that the management of the Hotel St. Francis was undaunted in the face of almost overwhelming disaster. The same spirit has carried the hotel through stress of storm, and it stands now almost as a monument to the energy of James Woods, its manager. There has always been a soft spot in our hearts for the Hotel St. Francis, and it is here that we have always felt a most pleasurable emotion when seeking a place where good things are served. Whether it be in the magnificent white and gold dining room, or the old tapestry room that has been remodeled into a dining room, or in the electric grill below stairs, it has always been the same. We asked Chef Victor Hertzler what he considered his best recipe, and his answer was characteristic of him. "I shall give you sole Edward VII. If this is not satisfactory, I can give you a meat, or a salad or a soup recipe." We considered it satisfactory, and here it is. Sole Edward VII. Cut the fillets out of one sole and lay them flat on a buttered pan, and season with salt and pepper. Make the following mixture and spread over each sole. Take 1/2 pound of sweet butter, 3 ounces of chopped salted almonds, 1/4 pound of chopped fresh mushrooms, a little chopped parsley, the juice of a lemon, salt, pepper, and a little grated nutmeg. Add to the pan 1/2 glassful of white wine and put in the oven for 20 minutes. When done, serve in the pan by placing it on a platter with a napkin under it. Hertzler has another recipe which he prizes greatly and which he calls Celery Victor, and this is the recipe which he gave us. Celery Victor. Take 6 stalks of celery, well washed. Make a stock of 1 soup hen or chicken bones and 5 pounds of veal bones in the usual manner, with carrots, onions, parsley, bay leaves, salt and pepper. Place the celery in a vessel and strain the broth over it. Boil until soft and let cool off in its own broth. When cold, press the broth out of the celery with the hand gently and place on a plate. Season with salt, fresh ground black pepper, chervil, and 1/4 white wine vinegar with tarragon to 3/4 of best olive oil. Amid bright lights. Streets centering around Powell from Market up to Geary may well be termed the Great White Way of San Francisco, if New York will permit the plagiarism. Here are congregated the most noted of the lively restaurants of the present day San Francisco. Here The streets are ablaze with light at night, and thronged with people, for here is the restaurant and theater district proper of the city. Among the restaurants deserving of special mention in this district are the two Solaris. When Solari opened his restaurant at 354 Geary Street, where he continues to attract good livers by the excellence of his cooking, he at once achieved fame which has never waned. It so happened that there were two brothers, and, as sometimes occurs, brothers disagreed, with the result that Fred Solari withdrew and opened a restaurant at Geary and Mason, just a short distance from the original place. Evidently, the recipe for what is considered best in both of the Solari restaurants came from common ownership, for each of these places gave in response to a request for its best recipe the following: chicken country style. Cut a chicken in 8 pieces and drop them into some cold milk, seasoning with salt. After soaking for a few minutes, dry the chicken in flour and lay in a frying pan in good butter. Place in the oven and let them cook slowly, turning them occasionally until they are nice and brown on all sides, when remove them. In the gravy, put a tumblerful of cream and a pinch of paprika. Mix well and let it cook for 10 minutes until it gets thick. Then strain and pour over the chicken and serve. The following don'ts are added to the recipe. Don't use frozen poultry. Don't substitute cornstarch and milk for cream. End of Section 9. From Bohemian, San Francisco, The Art of Elegant Dining, read by Denny Sayers in Modesto, California, for LibriVox, Fall 2006.